All right, next we're going to do a heart. And heart's a very simple symmetrical pattern. We start by finding the center of the shirt, and I usually like to line up the sleeves and the bottom. That'll give me the center. Grab it at the collar and the bottom and shake out the back end. Okay, then I'll draw half a heart and do my accordion fold on the drawn line, on the pencil line, like this. And be really careful to stay on that line. This is where it's important to get your rubber band as tight as you can, because you want a white line to define your design. Okay, so when it's folded, it's going to look like that. If you want to do a more defined crumple and define your sleeves, you can tuck your sleeves before the crumple. On this, if you're going to do it basically solid color, doesn't matter. Now, if you're going to crumple it and you want your sleeves together, I usually open them up like this in the center after they're lined up, and then crumple it that way instead of having them laid so there's not that much thickness of fabric. And then we band it like that. So let me pull out a white shirt and we'll start. White shirt laid out flat. Fold it down the center, straighten it out. Pull out the center and decide how large you want your design. Take a pencil or a water-based marker and just lightly draw your heart, half the heart. Okay. Then we're going to get on that line. Do an accordion fold. This is where it's important that your line matches up all the way around, or you won't get the defined center of your heart. That little notch that comes down into the middle, you'll get a red blob if you don't have it tight enough. Okay, so this is one of the few times you're going to lift your fabric, because you want to have a good hold on this. Get that rubber band right on the line, and then twist it as tight as you can. And that twist right there is what's going to make that white line in here. Okay. Now we can line up our sleeves. Again, on this, we pull the sleeves up toward the center. I'm lining seams here so that the shoulder seams are matching, so we get a little bit of symmetry in our crumple design. If you want a couple different colors, if you're going to do a rainbow around your heart, it doesn't hurt to put another band on it. And then we're just going to scrunch the rest of it up. When I'm putting the bands on, I like to pull in these loose ends. If you're planning on doing a crumple with a lot of white in it, you don't want to leave too many of those loose ends out, because what you end up with these big patches of solid color. So I want to keep everything in fairly tight, like that. Now, if we want the end of our heart red, start in the center with red. Again, saturation's important here because you don't want to cover that. And I'm just going to go from red directly to yellow. I'm not going to put any orange in there. So I'll have a red heart with yellow surrounding it. And then, like the shirt we saw earlier, the rest of it will be a blue crumple. So we'll end up with red, a little bit of orange, yellow, green, and turquoise. If you want the shirt itself to be a solid color, do more saturation on the turquoise. Less rubber bands, leave it looser, and that way you can make sure the whole thing gets dyed. Or you can pick it up afterwards and squeeze it, and that'll just put the dye through the whole thing. I don't want to put too much more dye on here because we got a pretty good coverage already. I want to flood the yellow a little bit. Right, and that's your rainbow heart.